I think I didn't really ever appreciate being a beginner in something.
Oh.
And I think I felt sometimes like I already needed to be an expert in something I was doing, like something like cooking or something like tennis, But I think it's okay. Of course it's okay. It's nice to be a beginner. You get to improve. You get to work hard. You get to have very little expectations put on yourself. And then under that very little pressure, when you actually see positive results, I think it's a lot more meaningful. It shows growth for yourself. I would tell people just, if you are trying something new, like we just talked about, it doesn't have to be perfect right now. It doesn't have to be perfect anytime ever. That's just part of the growth process and part of learning.
Welcome to the Thriving in the Middle podcast. Believe it or not, I chose to spend the rest of my life in middle school. I've been teaching for over 19 years, and my primary goal can be boiled down into one task: developing human potential. My three favorite educational words are autonomy, agency, and authenticity. There's nothing more authentic than hearing about the realities of middle and high school life directly from the students who have lived through it. Whether you're a parent looking for perspective, a teacher trying to better understand your students, or a student looking for some guidance, this podcast has something for everyone. The goal is not only to help you survive, but to thrive during this complicated time of life. Ready? Let's thrive together.
Today we are joined by Owen White. Owen is a recent graduate of GHS. Congratulations. Owen has arrived at the end of his senior year, and he is planning the next chapter in life, which will be at MIT, and I think a trip to Sicily. Didn't mean that to rhyme, but it does, which is pretty great. So I'm so happy that you took some time out today to talk to us. Hi, Owen.
Well, hi, Mr. Browder, and thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to talk about my high school experience, my future plans. Just all of it.
What did you say? It was a 12-year journey to start a new 10-year chapter?
Yeah, 12 years. Finished 12 years to do another 10 years of schooling.
Yeah.
But that's what this part of my life is for anyway. So
I think
it
always works that way a little bit. We said out there, it's like you get to the top of the mountain and you look around and it feels pretty good, and then you're like, oh, okay, next mountain.
Yeah, there's a taller mountain in front of me still.
Somewhere else out there waiting for you. So that's great. We actually haven't. We haven't had our paths had not crossed.
No, not at all. Actually,
it was cool to get to sort of set up the questions and talk to people in your life to prep for this. And I look forward to talking a little more here.
Yeah.
So, I guess one of the good places to start is to go back to talk about where you come from. And I heard that you love cooking. I have a son, Hayes. He's a 6th grader. He's coming here next year. He loves to cook, and so I enjoy spending time in the kitchen with him. And talking with your mom, a lot of this is because you're Sicilian heritage.
Yeah,
is that accurate? And I'm just curious if you can tell me a little bit of like where exactly your love for cooking came from. And I heard there's a battle with artichokes that might come up. I gave you a calendar a moment ago. It's a friend of mine from Sicily, or takes pictures in Sicily, and there was an artichoke, and you called it out right
scared.
away. So, how about cooking? Where's that come from?
Yeah, so I guess it's never really been like a huge part of my life until recently, but I think it kind of started COVID years. I started baking actually a lot. So I just started with normal cookies, but then I really moved on to like kind of more gourmet cookies, ones that take real long, brownies. I started sourdough. So it started a lot with baking. I think baking's like really therapeutic. You're just sitting there, you stir for a while, you let it sit in the oven, and it's just kind of nice to relax.
I feel like COVID was like everybody was sitting around at home and like looking for something to do. And so the kitchen was a calling for a lot of people as an escape. Yeah.
And then I guess kind of in the past year or two, I've started taking up cooking a lot because it's just me and my mom at home with my brother gone. So it's kind of more of an expectation to cook at this point. But
so are you making whole meals?
Yeah. So more recently I've been starting to do like a lot of Italian dishes. So these, like homemade pastas, risottos, pizzas. I don't know. I just enjoy. I can't really say that I've had a large Italian influence on my life. I never really knew the Italian side of they passed away before I was born, so I never really had that kind of influence.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I cook it, I feel a little more connected with the heritage somewhat.
Sure.
So.
Where do you find your recipes? Are these?
So yeah, I mean, most of my Italian recipes come from this one Italian cookbook that I have that my uncle gave to me.
Oh, that's cool.
So he actually speaks fluent Italian, and he's who we're traveling to Sicily with next week.
So he lives stateside, but
yeah, he lives stateside. But sometimes or a lot of the times he goes over to do research because he's a Venetian historian. So he does a lot of research over in Venice.
Very cool. And so this is a cookbook. Favorite recipe?
Ooh, favorite recipe. What did I enjoy? Okay, gnudi. There's these little spinach ricotta dumplings from Italy, and they're just, you put either like a brown butter sauce or like a marinara sauce on them.
Are you like making these from scratch?
Yeah. Spinach and ricotta, and you roll them up into little balls, boil them for a couple minutes, and they're just delicious. And they're not even not hard to make. They take maybe like an hour. So
super cool.
Yeah.
Anything, any large metaphors or advice you can pull out of the kitchen that has taught you anything about life or how to approach it?
I don't know. Just keep it relaxed. It's nice and calm. There's no pressure. It's not like Chopped or anything. You don't have to.
That's a good point.
There's no time pressure on you.
Yeah.
Don't use artichokes.
What's the artichoke? You just don't like them?
Okay. Well, I for spring break I did a week of all Italian dishes, and they each took me like many hours, whole day, like making things. But it was a spring vegetable soup I was making, and it called for artichokes. And I'd always seen canned artichokes or canned artichoke hearts, so I never actually worked with an artichoke.
Which I'm picturing like an artichoke's a pretty big.
Thing,
right?
They're big, and you have to really peel down all the outer layers because that's all unedible.
And that's scrap.
Yeah, scrap that. Like you're scrapping maybe 90% of what you bought.
Okay.
And then you cut it open, and inside there's these like indigestible, they call it the choke, which are these like little toothbrush bristles. So you have to scrape all that out. And I thought I scraped out all the toothbrush bristles, and then I chop it up, throw it in the soup. There was a couple other little chokes hiding behind some of the leaves.
And what happens?
So it's in the soup now. I can't get it out of the soup. So, I mean, the soup was not the best.
You can eat it. It's just not good for you.
You can't even digest it, and they get caught in your teeth, and it's just horrible. So
bummer.
Never going to use artichoke again.
No
Actually, maybe I
artichokes.
will. Maybe I'll...
Extra careful
Yeah, I'll be
scrapage.
very extra careful with that.
I love cooking, and I think, like you said, there doesn't have to be a time constraint to it as long as you give yourself enough time. Like often I feel like we've turned meals into something that's really fast, or because we're trying to do a bunch of other things. But especially in Italian culture, it's always been this like, take your time, like you're eating with other people. Like this is a moment for conversation and for pause. And then you can mess it up, but like largely the outcome, like there's a varying degree, but you're allowed to make mistakes, or it might not be the best time you make this thing, and then you'll make that same dish another time and it might taste a little better. And I feel like that is a little flavor of life.
Yeah, it's just relaxing. It's calming. It's a nice escape from the busyness of everything.
So tell us about, you're leaving soon. I think you said next week. You're actually going to Sicily.
Yeah, we're going to Sicily next week. We'll be there for a couple weeks or so. We went to Italy 2 years ago, but we're going now to Sicily.
You didn't visit Sicily?
No, we did Venice and Florence,
okay.
Which is more of my uncle's specialty, so
Gotcha.
It worked out well.
You said he's a Venetian?
Yeah, Venetian, and then I think also a little bit Florentine. Historian, yeah. He's written a couple books about Venice and all really that, cool. So... I mean, it's nice to have like a personalized tour guide.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we'd be lost.
He can tell you all the things.
Yeah, he can talk with the people, and that way we don't.
Do you have any connection to family? Are there any, like, will you get to talk to anybody that is related, or is it?
When I think it was great-grandparents, might have been great-great. I think it's great-grandparents immigrated from Sicily. They kind of lost that connection, but we have an address and some names.
Knock on the door.
And we'll see if anyone's got the last name Romano at that address, and then maybe
it's like
we'll
cool
see.
Scavenger hunt. Like,
yeah, we're going one day, or not one day, just a couple hours to the village that they immigrated from, and we're gonna see what happens. Cool. See if we can see someone.
I mean, how cool to just see where it started to some extent.
Yeah,
that you had family that grew up there and left to come here. All right, cool. I heard you have also a passion for trivia, and you apparently have a goal to make it on Jeopardy.
Yeah, win Jeopardy.
True? To win.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
My fault. I love that. You have a goal that you're going to win Jeopardy.
Oh, yeah.
Where's that come from? Like, that's a pretty unique goal to have, and what's the origins, and how do you go about making that come true, I guess?
Yeah, I kind of picked up trivia my sophomore year because I was in... It was AP Chem. There was a lot of seniors on the team, and obviously they were looking to recruit some more people.
This is like, is it called Quiz Team, or what's the high school?
They call it Academic Team at our high school. Some people call it like Quiz Bowl. I don't I don't really know what the actual name is, quiz team, but they were doing it, and they just asked me if I wanted to come try it out.
Who's the advisor? Do you know?
Mr. Masters and Mr.
Masters.
Waite.
Okay.
So they're both advisors for it. I went to some, I guess you call them meets, matches. Who knows what you actually call them. But I really enjoyed it. And I didn't really actually start studying until junior year. And then I kind of really got into it. So that's when
how do you study? I
kind of have two ways. So one of them, like,
it can be on anything, right? I mean, like material wise.
Yeah, I specialize. So everyone has kind of specialties when you get to like the higher levels of it.
Okay.
So like I can generally answer most things about everything, but then like deep wise, I can really go deep into like literature and fine arts.
Okay.
Most people study this way by like making huge documents. So I've got this big literature document, and I organize all the authors by country first, and then alphabetical per country, and then each of those authors, every single work that they've done, and then for each of those works, summaries of those works.
Are you allowed to access that, or is that just for studying purposes?
Just for studying. So I have that document memorized during the main season. That way, anything I hear about literature, I'm ready to.
You said during the main season. Is that something that you can only sort of hold on to for a time, and then you have to go back and refresh?
Yeah, because I'm not right now, because we're done. We've just finished our state tournament.
Yeah.
I'm not studying too much anniore, though I have to study a little bit because I'm hoping to be on the MIT.
You're going to win Jeopardy
one.
after you're on the MIT.
Yeah, but I haven't kept up too much with the studying. So
they have a similar team at MIT?
Yeah, they have a quiz bowl team. They're pretty good, very good. So I'll have to really up my studying to.
Is that you try out? Like it's a
yeah.
Do you meet? Did you meet with any of them in the?
No, I haven't met with any of them yet. So once the season or the school year starts, I'll definitely have to.
And then how did you guys do this season?
We did great. We got 11th in the state. I think it's about 750 teams.
Oh, wow.
So
that's great.
Very well done. We weren't expecting that. The goal was make the state tournament, which we did. So we were thrilled with ourselves.
And so you'll actually like your literature. And so if it's that type of question, do you get to tackle it, or does the whole team answer the question together, or how does that?
Yeah, the whole team answers it together. It's like buzzers, like Jeopardy. There's 4 of us up there. We each have a buzzer, and they'll start reading the question.
Okay.
And we can buzz in at any time, except if one person buzzes in, that's like your buzz for the question. And if you get it wrong, the other team can wait till the end of the question to buzz in. So you're kind of trying to beat the other team with the buzzers, which is why I actually study a different way as well. I study by recording myself. I have these hour-long videos that sit on my YouTube unpublished, so only I can hear them, of which I just listen to them on car rides.
And is it you talking through the content?
Yep, I just read through a bunch of questions, and I just respond to myself in the car.
Have you tried playing with like Notebook LM to make it a podcast between people?
No, I haven't tried that yet.
Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's imagine if you could literally just have a recording on it, your professor talking, or you could take all the PDFs that they gave you. You can literally input all of these things into Notebook LM, and then you can ask it, and it will create AI podcast of 2 people talking about all that content.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. That'd be
cool.
So much easier.
Like a different way to listen to it. And then you can be like, okay, that was great. I'd really like you to do another podcast, but I'd like you to have it from the perspective of, or focus in on, and it'll generate a new one for you.
That'd be great. That'd be more efficient than me sitting in my room for an hour and a half recording questions.
But maybe not. Maybe that's part of the studying too.
Yeah, it might be a little bit.
And maybe it's just another thing that you add on. I haven't had a great reason to study anything in a long time since Notebook LM has come out, but I'm like, man, I feel like that would be a really cool tool.
Yeah, that'd be a really nice tool for this.
Yeah. Check that out.
Yeah, I will.
Cool. So quiz team. My oldest son, he's an 8th grader, going to be a 9th grader next year. Can't wait. Like, I think that'll be his jam. Like, I think he'll be really excited about it.
It's super fun.
Loves trivia, loves facts, loves learning things.
Yeah, free food too every Wednesday.
Free food, you can't beat it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Cool. Do you go to trivia like the Cidery has one and the Lot has one, and do you enjoy that kind of trivia, or is that different?
Yeah, it's different. So I've done some I guess you would call it bar trivia, which is kind of similar to Jeopardy, which is why I'm still not ready for Jeopardy. There's a lot of pop culture in that. So our quiz bowl team at the academic team here at the high school, there's not a lot of pop culture. Yeah. It's mostly straight academic stuff. So when those categories come up, I'm kind of
out of the loop.
Yeah, out of the loop. But
it sounds exactly like my son.
Yeah,
same problem.
Got to work on that.
This is off topic, but I wonder, did you skip over 7th grade ELA? I'm wondering how you missed me.
Yeah, I think I did.
Okay, so you went from 6th grade to 8th.
I started with Mrs. Bice.
Yeah, I bet that's what happened then. That's how it happened. Cool. All right. So you also participated in robotics
Mm-hmm.
for 10 years. And then you also love to play the violin, which
do.
I love the contrast, the
Yeah.
dichotomy between those two things. So, they're very similar things, but also like kind of different. You have an arts and you have a science.
Mhm.
I'm wondering how balancing those two things has sort of developed you as a human, like as a person. Because I think a lot of people specialize in one direction or the other,
Mhm.
and our world and society wants to kind of like put them in two different boxes. But
Mhm.
I love that you've got kind of both of those, and we talk about well-rounded humans and individuals. And
Yeah.
what's that look like for you?
Yeah, I've been lucky that I've never really had to choose between STEM or the arts. I've been able to find the time for both in my schedule, which I think some people can struggle with. But I find that they do, like you said, really reinforce each other. A lot of the qualities required for both, like there's a lot of leadership required, collaboration, kind of discipline. I think for leadership, serving as like a concertmaster or a section leader in an orchestra, or serving just as like a senior member of my robotics team. That requires, being able to give constructive feedback to the group, understanding that like people have to come together and work together in order for something to really flourish, in order for something to actually like come together well. I think also in another sense, music really helps people kind of generate the creativity that's necessary in like STEM fields.
I was going to ask
really-
that
yeah.
if there's like a different, if you feel like it's a different part of your brain, or if you think your brain is.
It's that other half of the brain that's really helpful, because you need to have that innovation in order to kind of address a lot of the problems that people are trying to address in STEM fields. Fosters kind of that innovation,
the
that's
creativity
necessary.
side of it.
Yeah, it's really important, I think.
That's cool.
Because these problems that we're seeing today really need those unique solutions that I think the participation in the arts can really help people find.
And I feel like there was a large push, when STEM was created, this is the acronym itself. And then people were like, wait a minute,
STEAM.
let's put STEAM in
Yeah.
there. Like, let's put the arts back into that piece, because they don't work in silos. Like the world really needs all of them working in Congress.
Yeah, they're not necessarily distinct.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually organized a pretty big STEM robotics tournament.
Yeah.
Was this at OSU?
OSU Newark.
Newark. And was it multiple years, or
Yeah, so I started in 2025 and then I redid it again this year in 2026. So it was a First Tech Challenge robotics tournament, and that's sponsored by Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
It's my hometown.
Yeah, oh really?
Yeah, I'm from Beaver Creek, so we're really close.
Okay.
So is this like the third tier of Lego robot? Like it starts off as
Yeah,
is it related or connected to those, or are they separate?
Yeah, it's still the same program. It's
Okay.
under First, but they're kind of restructuring things
Okay.
right now. But I guess you would call it, I don't know what level up it would be, but I guess it would be the second level down.
Okay.
It's kind of below First Robotics. Is it First FRC, First Robotics Challenge, which is like those 50 people teams.
Gotcha.
Lot more funding.
Do we have one of those in high school?
No, we don't.
Okay.
But we have our First Tech Challenge community team that I'm on. We did start the fire. But yeah, those robots are like,
And that's
smaller.
the next level down.
Mhm.
Okay. And they're actually, shout out, I think they're trying to recruit.
yes,
that
we're
robotics team.
currently trying to recruit some more members.
Okay. And that's grades 8 through 12?
8 through 12.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone in the community that's interested in robotics, you don't have to have too much experience or anything. That's the point of doing it, is to learn.
Right.
So
It's a void a little bit for me in our district.
yeah,
I had a Lego robotics team younger, and it was fantastic. And then when they came to the middle school, we didn't really have anything, and they got into Science Olympiad and really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And so we kind of let the Lego robotics, or the robotics part, drop off. But it's such a powerful program. Like there's so much about teamwork and collaboration and problem solving and critical thinking. It was
the
all
communication
things.
skills is also what I
For sure.
think is the most amazing part of that program. Like giving presentations to these judges, they're coming around like a panel asking you questions, and you need to communicate with other teams very well.
Yeah.
Because you're in this format, it's 2 versus 2, so you get paired with a random team for each round to play against another team. So you have to work together, try and figure out how your strategies align to score the most points out there.
And there's something different about stepping outside of a classroom, like in front of people that you don't know. I think I see that with OMEA a little bit, like just the intensity when you're now like playing for this group of judges in an orchestra kind of setting versus in your classroom. And there's not a lot of academic moments like that. Like you can think of every athletic situation where you're on a baseball team, football, you're performing in front of other people, but you don't have the communication piece that these things do. That's huge.
Those communication skills were very, very important actually in helping me with the tournament directing. For the past 2 years. We coordinated a lot of people. It's like, I think about like 22 teams each time, 500 attendees, about 50 volunteers.
Judges and volunteers.
Yeah. Coordinating all of them to work together, realizing that like an orchestra, like a robotics team, collaboration of everyone was really necessary in order for things to work out well.
What happens next year?
We're working on it.
Okay.
Either one of my team members, obviously I'll be out of town, so it would be the logistics of me continuing would be pretty difficult. So we're trying to figure out currently
who might pick up that torch.
We're not too sure yet. I don't want to say anything in case people haven't made a clear decision.
But hopefully there'll be a year
hopefully
3.
There'll be someone,
Yeah.
and no matter what, there'll be someone from somewhere else in Ohio could even pick it up and host it still at OSU Newark because it's a great venue for the event.
Great venue. You've done a lot of the lifting. You know,
Yeah.
just even with the communication, and you have know, that you could hand that off to somebody. So hopefully it keeps going.
Best part of the communication was the email skills actually, because I probably in that week up to the tournament probably about 200 emails sent.
People don't. It's such low hanging fruit these days. If you can communicate, I mean, it is just. It's a skill that I feel like is lagging and lacking a little bit, and so it's something we flex in my ELM class. They're reaching out to community members and partners, and I'm like, you don't understand. This is everything, and you're gonna stand out. They're gonna be like, wow, they're such great communicators because they actually replied to my email and they did it in a timely fashion and they were articulate, and so. Yeah.
It was great. I had to reach out to all these local STEM companies and all this ask for sponsorship. So
and it's still the way
with people. Yeah.
Outside of, I think there's a lot of switch to SMS to text messaging and direct messaging people, and social media is cool because you can just direct message these people that you normally maybe wouldn't even be able to get a hold of.
Yeah.
But a lot of things inside the functional business space is still an email because they'll have that posted, and that's at least how it initially starts. So reply to your emails, people. If you're listening to this, I feel like the high school actually doesn't email a lot or doesn't do a great job of. I'm amazed when I reach out like, you did a great job. Thank you.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. You obviously you had those skills down. You replied to all those, but I feel like it's an important skill. Yeah. To go back to that. Cool. So it was a success. You had all these teams in, and you've done that for 2 years in a row. And
it's fantastic.
It's project management.
It's been
101,
run
right?
very smoothly both time. No major hiccups.
Great leadership, right? You did a nice job. All right, cool. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. So you earned a spot on the varsity tennis team, and you played your junior and senior year. Is that right?
I've played since freshman year.
Sorry, varsity was junior, senior, or is that
I
also?
got a varsity letter my sophomore year.
Okay.
But I wasn't on like the main varsity top 7.
Cool. So played varsity tennis. And I heard that it started via a ping pong table in your basement. Yeah. And so can you give us a little insight into the journey? Just how do you go from ping pong to playing tennis? Yeah. And then maybe a little bit about your tennis experience.
Yeah, I actually started playing ping pong with my dad. We got a ping pong table, and we would just play a lot because that's where you get it. No, we weren't very good yet.
It's like the go-to. Yeah. It's there.
Right? Yeah, it's there. Why not play it? Let's move. And then, unfortunately, he passed, but my brother and I found that ping pong was a really nice, unique way that we could just be together and bond through that. So we played probably an hour a day until he went off to college. So we got maybe even more. We played a ton of ping pong. And just that repetition and just keep playing over and over again really improved the skills.
It's a similar forehand, backhand situation,
Yeah, so
right?
I knew a lot of people on the tennis team. So they asked if I wanted to join, and I thought I would. I was like, maybe some of the ping pong skills would transfer, and they kind of did. I mean, I never really struggled with like hitting the ball or anything. Yeah. Obviously, it's not 1-to-1. Right. It's not perfect, but just keep playing, and I've really loved playing. I play a ton, just like ping pong. It's that repetition. I play all the time with my friends, even if we're not out actually for a match or at a practice. We just like to play.
Where's your brother go to school?
He goes to Kenyon.
Okay. And when did he start? How much older than you is he?
He's 2 years older.
2 years older.
So 2 years older.
Okay.
So after he left, I couldn't play ping pong anymore. So I kind of switched to tennis.
Cool. So you tried out as a freshman.
Yeah.
And the tennis team is pretty good about like you can come and play. Is that right? But you might not play in the like varsity matches or in the competitions, but it's kind of open. Am I misunderstanding that?
He made cuts my first 2 years on the team, but he hasn't made cuts the last 2 years.
Gotcha.
But it's just a great environment. That's really the reason I've enjoyed it. It's very relaxing. Like cooking, it's something that I can just use as an escape from the rest of my life. I can spend time outside, relax, spend time with friends. It's nice to have that outlet.
It's the point you said there of like looking for these things that you can do for the rest of your life. Like it really is like cooking, something you can literally go play tennis, be active, do socially with other people.
Yeah, it's
pretty fantastic.
It's great.
And you were a co-captain this year.
I was.
Is that something that the team picks, or is that?
Yeah, the team votes on it. Okay. We had 4 co-captains this year, so we had
nice.
quite a few.
How does that work? Just share responsibilities. It's just about leadership and setting a good example.
Set a good example.
Yeah.
You'll always find not even just the captains, pretty much the whole team cheering for the rest of the team when you're done with their matches.
Yeah, I feel like you guys did really well. Did I hear that? Like,
we were undefeated this season.
Oh wow!
So I think we were 17-0. So I think that's the school record actually for best season.
Is there anything that happens? Is there like tournaments, or is there like anything in tennis like that like states or anything that?
We had sectionals 2 Tuesdays ago, but all of our teams lost in the final round, which would have been the bid. We're in a really difficult sectional bracket, so you can't.
So you did
you
well.
Can't blame it. We did great. We all made it to the finals, so we were like, we were pretty thrilled.
Fantastic. So. Cool. Are you gonna? Is there any chance of like tennis at MIT?
Yeah. I mean, obviously not the main team.
Yeah.
They're
intramural.
Pretty strong. Yeah, intramural. At the very least. So.
Cool.
I'm excited.
Speaking of, so you're going to MIT?
Yeah.
Holy cow! I don't think I know anybody that's gone to MIT personally. I've never talked with anybody, so that's awesome. Congrats! I can only imagine.
So much,
you said the journey of 12 years, but
I was very excited.
It doesn't happen accidentally. It's like I think there's probably some pretty good intention behind getting to that point. So I'm wondering what's it take to get into MIT, and that I'm curious journey wise, like when was that a thought or an idea, and how do you make that happen?
Yeah, I think you hear a lot about all these kids that are doing research, summer internships, like all these really intense things, and it's difficult to not like compare yourself to them sometimes, to realize I didn't do any research.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't do any internships or anything, but I think it's just realizing that doing what you're passionate about, doing what you love to do, and making an impact on what you're passionate about is honestly the most important thing.
I would almost say that, like your internship was the robotics tournament. It was it was these things where you were, and probably more so than going and joining somebody that's doing something like an internship or something that's set up, you went out and had like an impact. Yeah. So like summers leading up to things, I just kind of I did college visits, which I think is really important. It really helped me to see these different colleges, see what options they provided. When did you visit MIT? Like when was the first time you ever looked at that? I visited
them, not this past spring break, but the spring break before.
Okay.
So I visited the Boston. That was my first time in the Boston area, and wow, it's amazing. It's
awesome.
I love it. Yeah.
Have you had when was the first time that you were like, maybe I want to go to MIT? Like where does that idea come from? Did somebody like show you that school, or did you found it? Or?
I mean, you hear about it online. You can't lie that you don't hear about it being a really, really top school.
Yeah.
I've always been interested in physics.
I mean, is it fair to say it's kind of one of like the top STEM schools?
That's what some people say, but yeah, I've always been interested in physics, and it's obviously a very high level in STEM and very high level in physics.
Yeah.
Learning about what the professors there are like researching about. I've like
so you read all about
that. Yeah, because I mean that's extremely important. You don't want to go there for physics and then they're all doing a different kind of physics than you want to do.
I mean that's next level though, as far as I've interviewed a lot of people. I don't think I've ever heard somebody talk about looking at what the professors on the campus are which is it makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's extremely important because once you get to that level of school, I mean, as unfortunate as to say, they're all fantastic schools.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of distinguishing factors between them.
Outside of that.
Yeah, outside of stuff like that.
Yeah, who the professors are, what their interests are, and do those align with things that you're going to be interested in
the
learning
community
about.
of the school even. It's those little things, but you can be really happy at any school.
Yeah.
As long as you're just taking advantage of the opportunities they provide.
So is there anything else that you think set you apart that allowed you to get in MIT outside of some of those? I mean, you obviously had to have a really good, your grades were in check and in order. You had a good GPA. You took things that led to the path you were interested in. Like you were, I'm sure, in the, what do they call the science math cohort track? Like is that a thing?
I don't know.
You weren't in that? IAP?
I did IAP. Yeah.
IAP, and then that leads to the next thing, and the next thing.
Yeah.
Did you do calc?
I just finished Calc 3 for the fall
Calc 3.
semester,
Okay.
and then linear algebra this semester.
And and these are wild things to think about, but I do think competitive schools are looking for a Calc 3, or like they are looking for these kind of, can you handle the rigor?
They're looking for you to take advantage of all the opportunities that are provided to you.
Yeah.
So if you're we're not in like a super rural area, but we're kind of, if you compare us to like a place in New York, there's less opportunities here. So they're not looking to expect you to have Calc 3, though we now offer it actually a little bit at the school through the Shawnee State, but they're not expecting that.
So where are you taking Calc 3?
Actually here at the school, just this year they started it.
Gotcha.
But they're not expecting you to have research. We don't have that kind of grand opportunity here in Granville as much. So just taking of what's available for you and really pushing yourself with that.
Did you these are selfish questions a little bit too, as I have a son who has ambitions, my oldest son, to go to an elite school. And so did you take mostly AP courses?
Yeah,
rather than like CCP courses?
I took mostly AP courses, but I assume that I can't speak to CCP because I've only had their CCP Calc 3 this year, but I assume that the rigor is similar.
Yeah,
but.
And I think you explained it well. And I think AP schools out of state it's because across the board you're all taking that same AP exam, and so you can kind of apples to apples where you could have a different CCP experience depending on where. But I like the fact that you it's a good example of, if your school's not offering it as an AP, there are these CCP options where you can go check that box or scratch that itch or go in your passion and interest area. And I'm sure those schools like seeing that stuff. Yeah,
I think just the most important thing is the goal of activities is not to get into college. It wasn't like when I started playing violin, I was like, this is going to look great when I send it as a supplemental video to some colleges. Yeah. I did it because I loved playing, and I've done robotics because I love being in that team and working together on stuff like that. And I think that passion really comes through when you share that with, whether it's an internship or a college or a job interview, that passion really comes through. So
they'll be able to tell if you're checking a box versus if you're actually passionate about something.
Yeah.
That's good advice. Cool. So I also know that you want to go to space.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about those ambitions and maybe where those came from, and is that legit? Like, is that a real goal?
No, I kind of just say that because my mom is really afraid that I'm going to go to space, and she
So
doesn't want me to go to space. But I guess it kind of stems from like a physics interest that I have. haven't always wanted to do physics. I guess with robotics for a while, I wanted to do like mechanical engineering or some form like that.
Yeah.
But taking higher level math classes, reading these books, even in my robotics, doing kind of like theoretical math work for like certain aspects.
So math's not my thing. Does physics fell out of math for you? Like, is that where the
physics is kind of an application of math. Okay. It's kind of taking mathematics and
to understand
trying to fit the world with mathematics a little bit more better. Whereas straight mathematics is doing math for the sake of math and trying to extend our knowledge of that, of some random theory. It's less applicable. Whereas physics, it really is just applied math almost in a way.
Is there a book that stood out to you that was like, lit a fire somewhere for you?
Yeah, I really liked reading. There's this author, Carlos Rovelli, and he's an Italian physicist, and he wrote this book. What was it called? The Order of Time. And he's talking about time in this, which is I think this is a super cool physics topic.
And
like,
this is
what is time?
This is like a physics top, like deep dive. Like he's contemplating these.
Yeah, he takes a philosophical approach
concepts.
at first, which is also a really cool part of physics. That at this theoretical side of it, it's really philosophy in a way, because you're approaching these strange ideas like time and trying to actually make them make sense, which is extremely difficult to do. So his book takes a really nice philosophical approach, and then maybe in the last 100 pages it starts to get a little more deep into the physics, because he has a specific theory that
There's philosophical, there's theoretical, and there's applied.
for physics, I don't know. I think there's more
this
like
might be
applied
Big-
and
Big Bang
theoretical,
Theory.
but
This is
maybe
my
there's philosophical.
approach too big.
I think
have you seen Big Bang Theory?
I haven't, but everyone says I should watch it.
I mean, they're all physicists.
Yeah.
I think you might get a kick out of it, but I'm sure you'd also see the like inaccuracies maybe or something. But
they're doing string theory, right? In
Yeah,
Big Bang,
yeah.
the guy Carlos Rovelli who wrote the book is actually he's the founder of a competing theory to string theory. So
Cool.
it's
yeah.
his book's pretty interesting.
Are you into SpaceX at all? Do you follow?
I don't actually follow. I should follow it all more, actually, a little bit, but I haven't followed it too much. Obviously, I watched the Artemis 2 launch and all that. But
I mean, and I forget the name of the original where they launched the Roadster, the Tesla Roadster into space, and it had the little guy driving it.
Yeah. I forget what that was called too.
But I got to watch that with my two boys, and it was this. I'm sure it's not even close to the same, but it was a moment that I felt like what people who got to watch them walk on the moon for the first time, where watching that with my kids and them going like, "Oh my gosh," and be like, "Yeah, that's possible." Like he literally, why did he do that? Well, because he can. Like it was just this moment of
it's so cool,
that you could do that.
Yeah,
his whole story, I think of sort of reinventing space travel and reusing rockets and. All that's really cool to me. So
yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to go to space one time. I like the idea that you're just out there and you can look back and you see all the history of humanity, all the people that have ever lived, right in your worldview, and it's like, I think that's just so cool to think about.
It's a cheat, the people who come back and they're forever different, having seen Earth from afar.
Yeah.
This is a cheesy or not even equivocal example, but going to Europe and then. I feel like I came back a very different human because I got to see the other the other continents and these people who are always, that's Europe and it's way out there. And, I lived on a farm my whole life. And so I just felt like very different people. Like I understood the world a little better and how similar we all were. And so I can't even imagine it would be like that, but on steroids to be able to see the whole planet.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what draws me to physics is thinking of these really big ideas and trying to approach that in general. Like, what is a theory of everything? I mean, that's just amazing to think about, and I like
try
that
to think about the world.
Yeah,
this is very. We talk about Maslow's hierarchy. Do you know that
pyramid?
No. I don't know why, but it was something I learned early in education that it like struck me. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense to view the world through this. But at the very bottom layer, you need like food, and if you don't have that need met, it's really hard to like move up to a different layer. And so then once you have food, and then you can start thinking about like shelter, and then relationships, and then up here are these like the ability to have all those needs met to where your brain can now focus on stuff like that, like why are we here, and what is our purpose, and so physics is a gateway or an opportunity for you to sort of answer some of those questions and think about them using math.
Yeah. It's just cool.
That's really
I'm excited.
Cool. That's really cool. No fear associated with that. You're like, let's go.
Yeah. Why not? And who knows? Physics can change too. My major might change from physics. Yeah. It probably will. 20 times.
Is it pretty? Do you think? Is MIT pretty open to that?
Oh yeah, you can change it up to like the last week. I think you can just click a button as long as you have the requirements. There you go.
Yeah, it was, and I was thinking about that when you were talking about looking at the professors and kind of what their interests are, because you know that you might be learning alongside them, but then at the same time, there are a lot of people go into college and they have no idea maybe what their major is going to be, but I like the fact that that they're open to like absolutely sure, switch your major, like follow your passion, continue like, because that's really what life's about even after you graduate. Yeah,
they really encourage you to take courses in a lot of things, and I will definitely keep up the engineering side for quite a while.
And I should have said this. So you're also majoring in music, like your physics, and then will be a minor or double major, or do you
double
know
major?
Double
right,
major.
That's my plan right now. But
can change.
We
won't hold you to this.
Yeah.
And so what's the music side like? What is that major? Is it just a major in?
It's just a major in music.
Music.
I mean, I'll be in the orchestra. I've already got my audition, working on my audition for that already. But just taking those music classes.
Is that a guaranteed, or do you have to, like, you feel pretty good about, like, I should
I'll
be able to
be
get
in the
into
orchestra.
it? Okay.
Yeah. I would pretty confident there, but
if you double major, does that mean more hours? Is it more strategic? Is it summers? Like, how do you end up, navigating that part?
There's course requirements to take, but people have done double major in music's pretty common.
Yeah.
At a lot of these.
Well, I love that they encourage that, or that's a normal thing. And again, it's that whole mashup of those two worlds and understanding the importance that the two have a cohesion. Synergy.
I love music enough that I'm never gonna let it go. So why not? This is my time to keep pursuing it.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna move into last set of questions here, and these are ones that I ask every guest. They're kind of geared at aiming or helping high school, middle school students that are coming behind you sort of navigate that space better. If you could go back and tell your middle school self anything that you think would have made navigating middle school and high school a little bit easier, what would your advice be? What would you go say?
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of talked about it already, but you really don't have to have everything figured out immediately. I feel like sometimes it feels like everybody knows what they want to be and like who they are, but like learning about yourself, learning about what you want to do is kind of part of the high school experience, even part of the college experience,
the adult
part
experience.
of it all. Yeah. Just, you never really know. And now's your time to learn. So don't be worried about like being genuinely interested in a lot of different things. I mean, people can have a lot of different passions, and as long as you just keep exploring them, you're gonna find what you really want to do. They don't ever have to fit into one category.
What is Warren Buffett has this quote, and I might be messing it up, but it's enough to get the point. And he said, most people die at 25 and are buried at 75. This idea that you stop doing that, like, you have your job or your degree, and then you kind of do that thing and you stop growing.
Yeah.
So good advice there of like, never stop growing.
No,
and
just keep learning,
being curious. I think it's missing from our portrait of a graduate traits.
Yeah.
If I could put one in there, it'd be curiosity.
Yeah.
Just
that'd
being
be good.
Curious about the world, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You felt like I feel like you had it pretty figured out, but you also at the same time are, because you even said just now, but my major might change.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty confident that it'll change, but I'm also confident that it'll probably end up being physics. So
yeah.
Confident and being unconfident. So.
There is this like, I feel like there is this balance of knowing where you want to go, but also being okay with not knowing, or it's not finite. Like it's not this fixed thing. But I feel like having a direction though, like be running towards something, but be willing to change direction.
Yeah.
And maybe even encouraged to change direction or feel good about it. Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Second question. What's something that you didn't totally appreciate in your middle school, high school years, but if you look back on it, you're like, actually, that was pretty great?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be too similar to my last answer. It's not entirely similar, but I think I didn't really ever appreciate being a beginner in something.
Oh.
And I think I felt sometimes like I already needed to be an expert in something I was doing, like something like cooking or something like tennis, but I think it's okay. Of course it's okay. It's nice to be a beginner. You get to improve. You get to work hard. You get to have very little expectations put on yourself. And then under that very little pressure, when you actually see positive results, I think it's a lot more meaningful. It shows growth for yourself. So, I would tell people just, if you are trying something new, like we just talked about, it doesn't have to be perfect right now. It doesn't have to be perfect anytime ever. That's just part of the growth process and part of learning.
Yeah, I love that. It goes back to that curiosity piece. Mm-hmm. And I think there are a lot of people that avoid being in rooms or spaces because it's new
it's
and they feel
uncomfortable.
like, and that actually, this is like the perfect, this is great. Like this is education, like making sure that being uncomfortable is a part of the process.
Yeah, it is.
If you're not growing, if you're not uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's just so important to be
to normalize that.
Yeah.
Very good. What's something that you've found that's really helpful in managing stress? And I don't know, I feel like my students are really stressed. Like I feel like they're more stressed. I feel more stressed than I was 20 years ago. I'm sure technology and flash media and efficiencies that have allowed us to take on more things has made that worse. And so what's your outlet? What's a good go-to for you?
Yeah, I think people wrongfully assume that I'm always really, really busy because, I'm, taking these difficult classes or going to a very, very good college. But I mean, I really do have quite a lot of free time. I have a lot of time where I just can sit at home and I can practice my violin, read a book, hang out with friends. So just trying to find that time for free time. And I know it's really difficult to manage, and it's easier said than done to just be like, I have some free time now. But just finding those times where you can just sit or just be alone and just relax for a second.
Do you feel like you were intentional about carving out those spaces or not taking on too many things, or was it about just finding the times that you did have and latching onto those?
I think a little bit of both. I definitely, I have a calendar and I know what's happening during my week, which helps me to know when in those times during my week I can really just have some time to myself. So kind of latching onto those whenever it comes up.
What's your relationship with procrastination in that moment? Are you pretty like, I'm just going to
get
it done?
I don't procrastinate till the last day, but I'm not like timing everything out to work 15 minutes every day up until the deadline. I usually am like a one sitting kind of person, but like a week before it's due.
Yeah.
So
I was asking that, and I wondered if that had freed up more time for you because you were kind of good at getting things done and not sitting around with them. I think a lot of people sit and think about the things that they have to do for so long that it eats up the half hour they would have had to do something they would have rather done or enjoyed. All right. So what's your relationship with technology? And that's a big question. And I think schools are constantly juggling what's best. And even right now they're thinking about potentially like changing Chromebooks, or does everybody need to have a Chromebook all the time, or should we just have them in the room? Should we be on Chromebooks less? And then you got social media, and you've got all these, you got AI. That's fun to talk about. Maybe it's interesting. Well, that's off topic, but I think it's interesting. There's kind of a backlash now from the younger generation towards AI. And so what do you broad-based question, what do you think about technology and how have you navigated it in your school experience?
I can start at social media. I have never really been on social media, which is a good and a bad thing. Yeah. It's good that, I haven't been on it, I guess, but also it's difficult to connect with people sometimes if you're not on it, because that's just how people connect these days. Yeah.
Was that intentional? Was it an intentional choice, or was it a
kind of an intentional choice? But I also just didn't ever get on. So halfway through my high school year, I never really felt a need to get on. Sure. Because I hadn't been on it already. So I hadn't started early there.
And it might even be harder when you think about exiting high school and staying connected with people, because that is a large way that you have to be way more intentional. It can be done, right? We did it before social media, but you have to be way more intentional reaching out to people in texts and things, rather than seeing somebody pop up on a social media feed and saying like, hey, a like, or how's it going? Or that's a great, whatever.
Yeah, I've been increasing my presence a little bit slowly this year, just realizing that, I'm moving away, so I won't see a lot of these people.
So much happens online now too that is the like conversation in person. Like it's, hey, remember that thing that we all talked about or did or laughed at, or that and so you can feel a little removed, I think. Yep. My kids aren't on social media yet. They have YouTube channels for their content that they are creating, but they don't have any of the other platforms. So we'll see how that
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for a while.
Frees up a lot of time. This is like very edgy and controversial, but I'll say it anyways. I follow a couple of admission counselors for Yale, for Stanford, who have online, which is funny because I'm accessing them through social media. But they're like, if you want your kid to get into a prestigious school, don't give them a cell phone, and definitely don't let them on social media. And it wasn't it was just from a standpoint of how much time it would free up.
Yeah, the levels of, I think Henry Miles said it in his graduation speech, but the levels of dopamine that you can that's just at your fingertips. It sucks you in. Yeah, by design. It's hard to escape. Yeah. So talking about the free time we were earlier, that can even cut into that.
It would be gone. It would probably be sucked up for you in that, and that's when I think people think they're so busy, but then you see that like you were on 8 hours this week, or you were on.
Not really. Some of that busyness comes from the fact that of technology
Yeah.
kind of sucking people in.
And dopamine is not helping you relax.
No.
So thinking like, oh, scrolling is my 15-minute luxury, or my well, that's actually just adding stress, because it's giving you that dopamine response. So that's social media. So you're kind of like you navigated it. You weren't on there. You navigated not having it, and you're pretty successful. You're doing all right for yourself.
There we go.
And so it can be done is the message I'll take away from that. You don't have to be on social media. Yeah.
I think for AI, talking about that is just to be careful.
Yeah.
And don't get too reliant on it, because people can get very reliant on it, and you lose a lot of the critical thinking skills that are really necessary.
And you guys are thankfully on the exit, and it's how I feel about, like, I build up all those skills, and so my interaction with it is going to look different than a middle schooler's reaction, and what their output and the way they can interact with it and their ability to filter it. And you guys are kind of on that same situation.
Yeah, I didn't ever have it for.
It wasn't there for those.
AI was only maybe really starting to be used like my 10th grade year, maybe.
Yeah.
So I had already had all these years of
building out that foundation of
English and all this other stuff that it's kind of cutting into definitely a little bit.
Yeah. I've heard, and I don't know what MIT's approach to this, but a lot of the other Ivies they're now doing proctored exams. They're doing like all these things to try to combat and make sure that the core institution, and when you graduate with a degree, they can say you can do the thinking, trying to combat some of those things.
I forget which school, but they had an honor system for a while, and they recently got rid of that.
Just read that. That's the one I was thinking of.
I forget which one it was.
I don't remember either. Princeton, Stanford. It was one of those.
Something like that. And they got rid of that because
it
AI
failed.
Yeah,
right? They were like, we can't rely on the honor system anymore.
It's too bad.
It is too bad.
But
because it's a temptation. It's an efficiency tool, and it's why it's not going to go away. The world will land somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the be all end all. I think we still will.
Yeah, definitely don't know enough about policy to really comment on it, but obviously probably need some regulation in the future. Lots of regulation.
And I imagine in physics, there are going to be applications where it's going to enable things to happen and be able to happen faster than. But you'll still need the physicist on the back end.
Yeah, you do.
Running the show, checking it, so to speak. How about Chromebooks? What do you feel about your one of my exit survey questions for my ELA class was, would you rather have more paper opportunities, or would you rather have more typing and digital opportunities? And so it was interesting to see that. And normally it's more, I would like to do it on the computer. And this was the first year that it was probably 70-30, 60-40 of kids wanted to do more stuff on paper, which I thought was interesting.
I think obviously it's great to have it on a computer. It's definitely a lot less wasteful.
Yeah.
The amount of paper a class can go through is amazing.
For sure. I stopped making copies because I transferred everything digitally, largely from COVID. And it felt pretty good not to be like throwing away all that paper.
It's definitely better in that regard. However, I do think I think better when it's on paper. So it's something this reminds me of is like the SAT. My SAT I took, the first one was the first digital SAT, which is just a whole lot different than a paper one. Sure. Paper ones, if you're like reading a passage, you can underline stuff. It feels easier to use. When it's on digital, you're staring at a screen, and I think a lot of people are used to staring at a screen. Maybe you're scrolling through something on like Instagram even, and that muscle memory comes back, and even it's just easy to space out when you're on something like that.
Yeah.
So the paper I think really helps me focus better, but I understand that it's
editing and things too with writing for me. That's where, and I still have horrible penmanship as an ELA teacher, and so it's so nice to be able to type things out for me and to be able to edit and fix, and
it's another plus to it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. What's something that middle schoolers or high schoolers should start doing now to be better prepared for where you are in a few years?
Besides looking at colleges, going on college visits.
How many did you have a lot of schools that you looked at, or was it a pretty narrow?
Yeah, I definitely looked at a lot of schools. I was very fortunate to get accepted into MIT early, so for early action.
And is that early decision, or is that a little different?
Little different. So early decision's the binding one, whereas early action's just non-binding. You just apply and they tell you, or
Gotcha.
maybe you get deferred to regular decision.
Do early decision and early action find out at the same time?
Yeah, but MIT doesn't even offer early decision,
Okay.
only early action.
That's pretty
Which is
cool.
very nice.
They're like, hey,
low stress.
we'd like to have you. We hope you'd like to have us.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So I was very lucky to have that. So I didn't actually apply to as many schools as I had looked at because I was into my top option already. So I was very grateful. But besides that, I think just in general, the advice would just be ambitious. Just, it sounds a little cheesy, but if there's just something you want to do, just go do it now. Because like we've said many times already in the podcast, this is the time to try something new.
Yeah.
You're never going to get, you will get other chances, but you're never going to get as great of a chance besides, except from high school to really try something.
Maybe you have so many opportunities that are low stakes. Like, so you can try things in college, but now you're paying a tuition to do some of those things. And so if you need another year, like that, it literally could just be expensive. Like it could cost you money, where you can try things here and fail without repercussion for the most part.
And if it's something you really want to do, like I've said, that becomes your interest, then that becomes your passion.
Yeah.
And then that can really help you with whatever you're going into, whether you're just applying for a job or even a college.
Yeah. Go do it.
Yeah, just go do it.
Go do it. I
Nike.
like it. Nike. Thanks for that, Nike.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, any last words of wisdom or anything else you want to drop in here?
No, I don't think so. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh.
I had a great time. It was a great discussion.
Thanks for coming in. I'm surprised our paths haven't crossed. I've heard about you a lot.
Well,
and
that's good to hear.
This is always a compliment. I had several staff members reach out to me and say, like, you've got to get them on the podcast. And so I think that just speaks to you and how much people think of you at GHS. So
thank you so much.
Congratulations on graduating. I hope you enjoy your trip to Sicily.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you make it to space.
Yeah, I hope so too.
That's amazing. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
You got it.
As always, thank you to my guests for taking the time to sit down and share their experience with us. A shout out to Hayes Browder, my son, for creating the original audio used in this episode. A huge thank you to the Granville Education Foundation. Their hard work and grant opportunities have made this podcast space available for my students, and I am incredibly grateful. Another shout out to all my listeners. In a content-rich world, I am humbled by those who take the time to hear the reflection, introspection, and advice offered inside these recordings. I truly believe this podcast has made me a better teacher, father, and overall human being. I hope you find that to be true as well. Until next time, be kind, be grateful,